Cool. I have two more questions left. First one is, what is your favorite scene that you've ever worked on?
Uh, that one, there's a couple of them from Captain Marvel because I was just allowed to have so much input.
Hmm.
The beginning scene, the Torfa scene was really good. The train sequence was really good. The Pegasus hangar sequence where they fly out in the prototype Quinjet, that was a lot of fun. And then the Black Panther title sequence of the first one, the sand technology.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I came up with a lot of that stuff.
Oh.
We were talking about, Ryan showed me a video of this guy who had this, I don't know, looked like a little metal plate with some dials, and he poured sand on the plate and he would turn these dials and the sand would vibrate into
Hmm.
patterns. And, Ryan, he's like a visionary guy. He's looking at this going, I want to create a technology out of this.
Hmm.
And so we start batting around ideas with how it would look, what does the sand do, what are its characteristics, and we had a long talk about what the characteristics of this sand would be and what the technology would be. So they gave me a Letitia Wright recorded some dialogue that sounds a lot like what you hear at the beginning of the movie now.
Okay.
But it wasn't exactly the same. It was written more for her character. And that's what I was telling you, that After Effects animation. I did like full on After Effects animation stuff to this title sequence, and it came out really, really nice. It was like 7 minutes long, and it was a lot of work, and they were really happy with it. And I got the call after that to go on Captain Marvel, and Nate Moore, he called me and said, hey, I just referred you over to the Captain Marvel people, and I told them they would be really, really, really lucky to have somebody like you. And I was like, oh dude, thank you so much. That's
Wow.
so nice to hear. So that was, I would probably say that was one of the best moments right there, like as far as work goes, to be able to like take this one concept and expand. Someday hopefully maybe I can share it. It's just there's so many different things going on. They had to cut a lot of it out for time's sake. I think the opening sequence is just like a couple minutes long, but the one that I boarded was like 7 minutes. It was a ton of work, but it was so much fun. And they really ended up liking it a lot. So that made it really satisfying and one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean that was one of my favorite scenes as well. With the vibranium sand, it was exposition, but it didn't feel like needless exposition. Like it felt very engaging.
Yeah,
watching it. So
yeah, the first pass I did on that, there was a lot of exposition. They knew they were going to have to cut it down, but they wanted to get it all in there and have me animate the entire thing, so they can kind of, it's always easier to edit down from when you have a lot versus when you have nothing.
Right.
So, but in the end, going back to that scenario, when I go and sit down and I see the movie for the first time, it's like, oh, it's not Letitia Wright anymore. It's I forget what his name was.
Killmonger's dad, right? It was
yeah.
Something Knight, right? I forgot his name, but he was.
Yeah, so he ended up doing the narration instead of Letitia, which was a shock. And then, they changed up a little bit of the sand technology. There's another good friend of mine who's a storyboard artist. He works exclusively in commercials only. That's how I met him. And he was working at a production company, and apparently the title sequence came to them in some form. And he called me up. He's like, hey, did you do this work? And something went through them where they had to kind of whittle it down and make it a little more financially achievable. So it went through like another process after me. So again, when I'm sitting down watching the final thing, it's some stuff is left in, some stuff isn't, because so many people have touched it since you've done it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would assume all those little grains of sand is pretty expensive to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, the boards that I did, there were no grains of sand. It was more like clumpy clumps of sand. Whenever I had to move sand around in that automatic, it's like, okay, clump of sand. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, that's awesome, man.